We're going to begin by opening the scroll right at the start where there's a big letter Bet for Bereshit, in the beginning. First day, God created day and night. On the second day, heaven and earth. On the third day, plants and trees. On the fourth day, the sun, the moon, and the stars. On the fifth day, fish and birds. On the sixth day, animals and human beings. And the seventh day, God rested.
And after the story of the creation, we continue with the story of Noah and the ark, and we get to the story of Abraham and Sarah.
God says to Abram, soon to be Abraham, leave your place and go off on a big adventure. And this is the story of Isaac and Rebekah and the next generation.
And following Isaac and Rebekah, we move to the story of Jacob and his twin Esau. So Jacob, of course, who had two spouses, Rachel and Leah. The most famous, perhaps, of his children was Joseph, and the story of his multicolored coat.
The story of Joseph spans about 4 weeks' worth of Torah readings and a musical. And there's a big gap in the scroll where you will see the new book of Exodus. Shemot starts with the adventure of the Israelites leaving Egypt and heading out into the wilderness,
which introduces us to the character of Moses and his sister Miriam, and a bit further on to Aaron. So through that we have the story of the 10 plagues.
Blood, frogs, creepy crawlies, flies, cattle disease, boils, hail, locusts, darkness, death of the firstborn.
Until he finally says, yes, you may go.
And here's the scroll in a kind of brick layout, very distinctive, which is the song that Moses sang as they left through the Reed Sea.
Followed by another little bit of song where we are told that Miriam leads everyone in singing and dance. Then that is followed a bit further on by our 10 Commandments. Version 1, version 2 comes later.
Anochi Adonai Elohecha, I am the eternal your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt.
And then we have building of the tabernacle, a bit more building of the tabernacle, more building of the tabernacle.
The big gap shows we're at the beginning of the next book, Vayikra, Leviticus. Leviticus has got lots and lots of instructions for sacrifices. And right here in the middle, Kedoshim is really at the heart of the Torah scroll in the middle of Leviticus on how to be holy.
After the book of Vayikra, we have book number 4, Bamidbar, in the desert, and all that happens there. And in Bamidbar, we find one of the oldest blessings, the priestly blessing, which we say often at the end of our services.
Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, ya'eh Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
We also have Parashat Balak, which tells of the prophet Bilam being sent to curse the Israelites and end up blessing them with the words of Matovu. We also hear about a talking donkey. Very fun Torah portion.
Another big gap in the scroll for Deuteronomy, Devarim, which is a kind of recap of lots of what we've heard earlier in the Torah, including a recap of the 10 Commandments where you can play Spot the Difference. For example, the Shabbat command, is it Shamor or Zachor? Observe or remember Shabbat? Here's the Shema with a big ayin and a big daled, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, and then V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha. The line in between is one that we've added in our prayer book. It's not there in the Torah scroll.
We go through Deuteronomy, we get to the narration of the curses and the blessings. And then we have Ha'azinu, the Song of Moses, recognizable by those 2 smaller columns that are quite visible.
This is Moses' swan song, the song towards the end of the Torah, just before we get to the very, very end of the scroll, where there is a big letter, Lamed, to finish, Le'enei Kol Yisrael, Lamed, back to the beginning. Bet, Lev, the Torah is at the heart of everything.
לעסוק בדברי תורה, לעסוק בדברי